what I've heard about them as a couple is that they've been living separate lives for a very long time. So they together, but they living separate.
Now,
maybe she doesn't know.
Beyonce doesn't know.
Yeah, I don't think Beyonce. And they're not going to share that with her.
Knows. I got the receipts. I still have the receipts.
Women who are supporting Cassie, who maybe have some stories about you that might feel a bit similar, you need to be put on mute. This is not your time.
The streets are on fire right now because word is spreading that Jason Lee might be sitting on some explosive secrets about Beyonce and Jay-Z's marriage. People are saying Jason low-key tried to warn everyone about their split way before the rest of the world caught on. If you've been keeping an eye online, you've seen Jason stirring the pot, throwing shade at Queen Bee right on his own talk show. Months back, he straight up cornered Beyonce on camera, dropping hints that he had receipts on her marriage with Jay unless she sent Kelly Rowland over to bless his platform. That's wild. At that time, fans clowned him hard, calling him crazy for even daring to step to Beyonce like that.
We can take it back a step further. We can go all the way back to when he was trying to get with Aaliyah. The Foxy rumors. This man has a legit history of what he's allegedly doing to Beyonce now. So why is it so far-fetched to y'all to think that he's not doing the same thing to Beyonce? Just because it's Beyonce? I'm gonna need y'all to take y'all stand caps off and put your thinking caps on.
But now, with all these fresh whispers flying that Beyonce might actually be ready to walk away from Jay-Z, everyone's suddenly replaying Jason's words like, "Hold up, did he already know what was coming?" The story's getting way messier than anyone could have imagined. So here's how this whole Jason Lee drama really popped off. It all goes back to last December when Jason got big mad after Beyonce left him off the invite list for her massive Renaissance movie premiere in London. Picture this, she invited tons of influencers, celebs, and media figures. But Jason, not even a mention. He hit the camera furious, saying Beyonce doesn't support black media and that he was done playing nice. The shade was heavy, and that's exactly when the tension started bubbling up between him and the queen herself.
I think optically, when you don't include other black leaders in the culture in the fold, I mean, not just take me out of it. The Breakfast Club, I mean, you should have honored and brought more black. And I spent thousands, over $40,000 in tickets and shared the experience with friends. And I've done a lot, and I'm not even gonna say it here because if I did, this internet, Beyonce's good internet, would go great.
Jason went on to say he dropped a massive 40 grand, yes, $40,000, on Renaissance concert tickets and merch for his whole team, thinking that kind of loyalty would earn him a golden ticket to Beyonce's exclusive event. But guess what? The queen still didn't send that invite. Meanwhile, other influencers with way smaller followings and pockets were partying it up right beside her that night. That's cold. After getting snubbed like that, Jason snapped. He jumped back on his show and started letting off hints about some dark secrets he claims to have on Beyonce. The room went silent. His guests looked stunned, jaws dropped, eyes wide open like they just heard something they weren't supposed to. But Jason, he didn't stop there. He took it a step further and basically tried to blackmail Queen Bee live on air.
I'm gonna tell them while Johnny puts a beep, so you'll never know what it is, but I want you to see their reactions. Ooh. And that's where I go back, we're friends. Can you imagine had I put that on Hollywood Live? Oh, there was one more thing. Beat this, Johnny.
Woo!
So that in itself, I think Beyonce could have gave me a...
Maybe she doesn't know.
Beyonce doesn't know.
Yeah, I don't think Beyonce, and they're not going to share that with her.
knows. Now, if I get that message to Beyonce, I'm connected. I could get the message to Beyonce. You know that, Yvette, we're trying to book Kelly Rowland right now. Now, if I don't get Kelly Rowland, then it's going to be a problem. Then I'm putting out receipts.
He said he'd keep quiet about the secrets he's holding only if Beyonce could pull some strings and get Kelly Rowland to sit down for an interview with him. That's wild behavior right there. At the time, fans weren't buying it. They said Jason was just being bitter, chasing clout, and mad about missing that premiere. Nobody believed he had real tea on Beyonce. But fast forward to now, and the rumor mill is on fire. People are whispering that Beyonce might really be done with Jay-Z, and social media detectives are connecting the dots. They're starting to wonder, was this the same T Jason was dangling all along? Could he actually have known something real this whole time? For anyone still scratching their heads about where these divorce rumors are even coming from, let's break it down. Jay-Z himself already admitted to stepping out on Beyonce before, and over the years, his name's been tied to more than a few women. But this latest storm really started brewing when people began connecting dots between Jay-Z and Diddy. Word on the block is Beyonce was completely blindsided by some shady business dealings Jay was allegedly cooking up with Diddy.
John Carter is worse.
Uh-oh. Oh, man.
He's smarter. He's patient. He's not sloppy.
Mm-hmm.
This been lining up people he calls friends and stepping to the side while they get hit by the guillotine for 30 years.
And now she's trying to back away fast before that situation blows up in both their faces. Everyone knows Jay-Z and Diddy were locked in like brothers for decades. But recently, that so-called brotherhood started to crumble right before Cassie dropped her lawsuit bomb. Now here's where it gets wild. In one interview, Diddy bragged that only 2 people in the world get to call him Sean, his mom and Jay-Z. He made it sound like their bond was deeper than friendship, like family. But the crazy part, at the very time Diddy was saying that, he most likely already knew Cassie was gearing up to drop that explosive lawsuit. Cassie's lawyers even claimed Diddy had been scrambling behind the scenes for years, allegedly throwing millions her way just to keep her silent. Now people are convinced Diddy dropped Jay-Z's name on purpose in that interview, almost like he was sending a coded warning. Don't act brand new, because if I go down, I'm taking you with me. And it gets darker. Insiders in the industry are whispering that Jay and Diddy might share way more in common than people think, especially when it comes to how they allegedly move around women. The streets are saying there's a reason Beyoncé's been keeping her distance, and it's not just about business anymore. Jaguar Wright came out swinging with some crazy claims, saying Jay-Z might actually be worse than Diddy. According to her, Jay's silence through all of Diddy's chaos isn't about loyalty at all. It's about fear. She claims Jay's terrified that if Diddy ever decides to open his mouth, he could expose everything, including how Jay allegedly treats Beyoncé when the cameras aren't rolling. That's a serious accusation. But hold up, it doesn't stop there. The tea only gets hotter. Jaguar didn't just call Jay out. She went deep into those long-standing rumors about him allegedly messing around with younger women in the industry. She dropped some familiar names too: Foxy Brown, Aaliyah, Tierra Mari, and even Rihanna. Fans haven't forgotten those whispers, and hearing Jaguar bring them up again had social media buzzing. And then there's that shady R. Kelly connection. Jay-Z refused to fully cut ties even after R. Kelly's disgusting crimes came to light. People have never let that slide, especially when Jay acted like nothing ever happened. That move alone had fans seriously side-eyeing him. To make it even worse, some of Beyoncé's own fans have been questioning her relationship with Jay for years now.
Saw Jay-Z. And he was working with R. Kelly, and they were making so many records together. You know, they made all those records together. They both, Aaliyah. They shared so much in common.
The timeline of how they even got together has always felt off to a lot of people, like something just doesn't add up. With all this resurfacing now, the internet's wondering if Jaguar might have just cracked open the door to a truth nobody was ready to face. Beyoncé once said she was 18 when she first crossed paths with Jay-Z, and that they only started dating a year later. But here's where it gets messy. In a 2007 interview with Charlie Rose, Jay slipped up big time. When asked how long he'd known B, he got nervous and accidentally admitted they'd met 10 years earlier. That tiny detail made fans' jaws drop, because the math just wasn't mathing. If you break it down, that slip means they met way back in 1997.
Wow, a long time. How long? 10 years? However long she's been recording. That's when I met her.
Well, don't you remember how long it was?
Yeah, when I met her. I mean,
was it 5 years ago? Was it?
I met her 10 years ago.
But did you say to yourself at that time, wow?
I said, yeah, that's a fantastic talent.
Was that what you said?
Yeah. Yeah.
When Beyoncé would have been around 15 or 16, while Jay-Z was already 28. That age gap alone had people digging deep into his past relationships, and the whispers that started coming up were far from clean. Word in the street says that before Beyoncé, Jay was allegedly getting close to Foxy Brown when she was still in her mid-teens, promising to make her a star. That's raised some serious red flags, especially when folks started comparing it to Diddy's situation with Cassie. He was 36, she was just 19. The parallels are giving people chills, and that's not even the end of it.
Yeah, Beyonce's on. She's been on them for a long time. And you keep her that way.
Over the years, rumors have swirled that Jay allegedly had Beyoncé wrapped under some type of influence. Claims her supposed ex-bodyguard, Uncle Ron, has been shouting for a while. According to him, Jay's the one pulling the strings, controlling the narrative, and keeping Beyoncé in line behind the scenes. Those are wild allegations, but they've been echoing across the internet louder than ever.
Talking about free Britney, y'all need to be doing a campaign that say free Beyoncé. She is a prisoner in a gilded cage.
Jaguar Wright didn't hold back either. She went as far as saying Beyoncé's living like a prisoner in a gilded cage, surrounded by luxury, diamonds, and success, but with no real freedom on the inside. Fans are starting to wonder if the flawless image of the Carters has been covering up something way darker all along. But here's the twist that really sent these divorce rumors spinning completely out of control. Jay-Z recently decided to jump in and defend Beyoncé against the Grammys, calling them out for never giving her that long overdue Album of the Year trophy. At At first, fans were cheering, giving Jay his flowers for finally standing tall for his queen. But sharp-eyed viewers couldn't ignore Beyoncé's face. She looked tense, not touched. Her expression said everything, almost like she wished he'd stayed quiet instead of turning her into a headline again.
So even by your own metrics, that doesn't work. Think about that. The most Grammys, never won Album of the Year. That doesn't work.
Then came the real eyebrow raiser. When Jay was up there on that stage praising her, he didn't even say her name. He called her this young lady. The room went quiet and social media went crazy. People were like, wait, what? That's your wife? And you can't even call her Beyoncé or my wife? That strange wording had everyone talking, wondering what was really going on behind closed doors. And it gets even weirder. Right after Jay finished his speech, he, Beyoncé, and Blue Ivy immediately dipped out of the Grammys. No interviews, no smiles, just gone. Fans found that move super suspicious, especially since Jay was there to accept his own Global Impact Award. So now people are asking, how do you accept an award from the same show you're publicly dragging? And why put Beyoncé on blast in front of millions, only to sound distant and detached while doing it? The whole thing didn't add up, and that awkward moment on stage might have been the biggest clue yet that the Carter's picture-perfect image is cracking right before our eyes. Fans just couldn't shake off the strange energy from that moment. Some even pointed out how it felt eerily similar to when Diddy randomly shouted out Cassie at the BET Awards just months before her lawsuit dropped. That comparison alone had people's antennas up. And here's where things get even crazier. Word on the street is that Beyoncé has been grinding harder than ever lately. Between launching her new hair care line, dropping fresh music, and building her own brand empire, insiders say she's on a mission. Rumor has it Beyoncé's been stacking her coins and setting up her own empire separate from Jay-Z, just in case all that dirt connected to his alleged shady dealings with Diddy finally comes crashing down. Now people are really connecting the dots, and it's starting to look wild. Fans are asking if the tea Jason Lee teased about Beyoncé could have actually been linked to Jay's friendship with Diddy, especially since Jason made those bold comments right after Cassie's lawsuit shook the entire industry. The timing has everyone side-eyeing hard. This situation is looking messier than a spilled drink in the VIP section. Jason might be sitting on some serious tea about Jay and Beyoncé, stuff that could flip the whole game if he ever decides to spill it. And knowing Jason, if he talks, he's not holding anything back. Social media is already lit up with theories and debates. Some fans are convinced Jay-Z's about to be exposed as even worse than Diddy, while others say Beyoncé might not be so innocent herself. Word is she could be worried about her own skeletons falling out the closet if Jay goes down. At this point, it feels like this drama could explode in any direction. So what do you think? Is Beyoncé finally ready to file those papers, or is she too deep in this billion-dollar empire to walk away now? Drop your thoughts in the comments, hit that like button, subscribe, and share this video, and I'll catch you in the next one.